This episode of Life After Injury has been brought to you by Fornos Law Firm, devoted to optimizing your legal results.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to PushRIM Life After Injury podcast. This is episode 5, Weight Management and Nutrition. I'm Ray Pizarro.
And Boris Del Cid.
And I'm Richard Bell.
We want to welcome everyone for tuning in and checking us out today on another topic of discussions that's really important to our health, and our weight management is, we all have to deal with it, regardless if we're in a chair or not. So we're going to get started and, let Richard get us off on the right foot and speaking a little bit about that.
Well, all right.
Cool.
Well, when I got injured, I was about 220 pounds. Not totally fat. I was pretty athletic still. And had my injury, being on life support for a number of months, and getting fed intravenously. I dropped a ton of weight, probably down to close to 140. And once I left rehab and everything, I didn't change my eating habits from before my injury. So
you're still doing the burgers and stuff and fries?
Tommy's, and I put on weight quite rapidly. I probably blew up to about 200 pounds again.
Good Lord. In
a power chair. Not cool. So, eventually I had to address my diet, and, at the same time decided to do detox, to get all of the, narcotics, out of my system. Cause I did have a little issue with, some drugs in the hospital.
It's not uncommon.
Yeah. So, 2 weeks of detox hell is what I went through.
Did you have to stay home for that, or?
I couldn't get out of bed. I stayed in bed sweating, shaking, sweated buckets, and, just lost about another 40 pounds or so. So I went back down to about 160 or so. And, tried to do a vegan diet, but, went to the doctor, had my labs checked, and he noticed that, I had low blood protein. So I had to, start adding, protein. So I added fish, chicken, beef, lamb, to my diet, and, my labs got a lot better, started getting stronger.
That's great. You made that move, to go in and get those things checked out.
Well, yeah, you have to get your labs checked, once a year. You should get them checked and, have a conversation with your doctor about, what you should, add or subtract from your diet to make sure you're getting the nutrients you need to, continue to gain more return, get stronger. So, eventually I moved from a power chair to a power assist manual chair. And where I live there's a lot of hills. So, I wasn't strong enough to barely push across the living room at first anyway. But, so I just kept working at it. And, pretty soon I was out and about, met Ray. We started hanging out, and then, Ray and Bobby just kept getting on me about the power assist till I finally, ended up getting a power chair. A fully manual chair. And, that was, another challenge all by itself. And, eventually hitting hills, hitting ramps, trying to keep up with these guys. I discovered, by my house, there's a circuit that I do now that's about 5.8 miles. I do it about 3 times a week. 3 to 5 times a week, but more like 3 times a week. And, that's how I keep my, keep good exercise.
Burning extra calories.
Yeah. Get your heart rate going, and all of that. So that's that. How about you, Boris?
Well, when I came out of the hospital, I had lost approximately 40 pounds. I was very lean and strong when I was injured, but obviously being on a tube diet, where they put the tube through my nasal cavities, I had dropped a whole lot of weight. I was not able to eat because I had a trach, and I dropped quite a bit of weight. So by the time I was ingesting solid foods, I had dropped about 40 pounds. So basically, I was malnourished. I'm very, very, very skinny. But then I started exercising and getting stronger. The muscles started getting the protein that it needed. And eventually, I was able to push myself around the hospital and down in my wheelchair, and was able to gain a little bit of weight, not too much, probably about 15 pounds post injury after the 6 months of being in the hospital. But I want to touch on nutrition subject. It's important that we realize that everyone is different and everyone requires a different amount of proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and fats. First of all, I want to clarify, we do not suggest that you alter any of your diet drastically without the consultation of your dietitian or your physician, because he or she may have you in specific nutrition for a reason. That being said, we need to identify what the nutrients are, what is that we eat. We eat proteins, fats, minerals, and vitamins, and carbohydrates. Proteins are essential for tissue maintenance. Everything that we use during the day on our activities of daily living gets broken down. That's called catabolism. We engage into an anabolic phase when we go to sleep at night, and that tissue is replaced. The tissue is replaced in the presence of all these things. We need protein. Proteins are broken down into the building blocks called amino acids. There's a certain amount of amino acids that cannot be synthesized by your body. You must eat those on a daily basis. Those are called essential amino acids. Those essential amino acids then go ahead and produce other amino acids. Your body synthesizes other amino acids and makes specific proteins for specific type of tissues. Now, all these are complex biochemical reactions that occur in the presence of catalysts, and these catalysts will be in the way of minerals and vitamins. So it is important we have them all on a daily basis. Vitamins, we have water soluble and fat soluble. Water soluble will be C and B. Fat soluble will be A, D, and K. A, D, E, and K. So we must eat all of those. How do we make sure that we get them? All the vitamins and minerals are represented in the colors of the nutrients that we eat, specifically those of vegetables and fruits. So try to eat different colors and shades and tints of colors on your vegetables and fruit. You cannot possibly eat them all in one day. So you can vary them on a daily basis, and throughout your week, you make sure you get a little bit of the different colors. Next point, carbohydrates. This is a very complex subject that can take a whole hour, but we're not going to do that. You got two types: complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates have been dubbed as the bad carbs, and the good carbs are the other carbohydrates that are, cleaved or broken down over a longer period. Those carbohydrates are the good ones. Those are the ones that you get on whole grain foods. These actually maintain energy throughout the day on a way that your blood sugar is not spiked. And that's why the high glycemic index or bad carbohydrates are the bad guys, because they spike your sugar levels. Your blood sugar is known as glucose. They get broken down so fast that they go into your bloodstream in a very, very quick manner. That then spikes a production of insulin. When that happens over a long time, then you may start producing a resistance to insulin. And that may end up in what we know as diabetes type 2, which is insulin resistant diabetes. The other diabetes is the one that is insulin dependent diabetes, and that's that your pancreas is no longer producing insulin. Insulin is needed to deliver the glucose into each and every one of the cells in your body, in particular those of your brain. Your brain does not work on anything other than glucose. In other words, sugar in the bloodstream. That's what your brain eats or needs on a daily basis. So make sure that you Google or research which ones are the good carbohydrates versus the not so good carbohydrates. Decreasing or eliminating completely carbohydrates is not recommended without you consulting your physician or dietitian. Then fats. Fats are very necessary for us. Our nutrition and operation of our body requires fats. So elimination of fats completely is also not recommended. There are various types of fats: saturated, polyunsaturated, mid-chain fatty acids. You need to find out which fats are good for you and which fats are not good for you. The ones that come from animal source are usually the ones that are not so good. And there's a few of them that come from vegetable source that also you may not want to use too much. So this information is available in the internet. I would say consult with someone,
a nutritionist,
your doctor, who knows exactly what they're talking about, for a more professional opinion on your particular needs. So again, I'm sorry, we're running out of time for this. It's a subject that can take a long time to discuss, but I'm going to pass the mic to our distinguished Ray.
Wow, that's quite an introduction, Boris. Thanks, man.
You're the man.
I got to pop my collar now, bro.
That's
after
right.
That, but yeah, thanks for that in-depth. I mean, that helps going to help out a lot of people get that in-depth technicality of how the complex nutrients and fats and carbs and stuff work. So
right,
we appreciate you kind of breaking it down and getting a little bit deep into the subject. So that's really good.
Anytime. It could be deeper too.
Oh, yeah. And we'll get there one day. Once we get maybe a steady show on the nutrition, then we could get into a different layer of the
let us know
the subject. So
what you want. For those of you out there that are interested in subjects, specifically nutrition or something like that, if it is to the clinical part of it, let us know if that's something of interest and we can prepare something.
Yeah. And it's going to be based on our experiences. So, like Boris mentioned, ultimately check with your doctor and nutritionist and set up a game plan with them. And that's, it's going to take you to that next level. So, I mean, for myself, I was always athletic before I got hurt. And, I remember, getting back home and gaining those extra 20 pounds, without even trying, eating regular. And I found out that, oh, shoot, I can't keep growing. I started buying extra large shirts
right.
And my pants didn't fit me anymore. So not only, was that mental part of it, but it was expensive because you now have to go out and buy new clothes, and look at your other clothes that don't fit you anymore. So that was another thing that motivated me to make changes in my diet and my exercise routine, and maintaining my weight. So, I mean, right away, I started meeting other guys in chairs. And what helped me a lot was just doing the buddy system. Hey, you want to come out and push around at the mall?
Yeah. Where do we meet? Where did we hang out?
Oh, that Rich and I met at a gym. A physical therapy beyond injury gym that was open, and that's how we got started and just teamed up and said, okay, we're about the same level of injury, and I think we got a lot to be able to go out and push each other to
right.
Get stronger and compete, because we're both competitive.
Right, absolutely.
We want to win the race all the time, and that kind of gives us the motivation to get out there and do something. And Richard will tell you, man, we're out there sometimes doing these laps, and all of a sudden we start breathing hard, and we know we're doing something good for ourselves.
I know I've joined you before.
That's right. Boris joined in a couple of times, and we
do it at the malls now.
We average about 3 miles or more on a good day. You know, we try to get there early when there's not a lot of people at the mall. So this way you could get in there, throw your headphones on and do your laps.
And that's an excellent place for our newly injured people, quads and paras alike. Once you first get in that chair, get over to the mall. It's flat, it's smooth, it's easy training place.
Yeah.
And your temperature, remember, because inside the
Yes.
malls are usually air conditioned, which is something that you must
Right.
remember when you're going to exercise. Those of you who do not regulate temperature, body temperature
That's
in a natural way,
quadriplegics.
quads and paras too. I only sweat half my
That's
face
true.
and half my arm.
Yeah.
So
Depends how incomplete or your complete is your
exactly,
injury.
that's an autonomic nervous system response to your injury. So you need to consider the temperature. But go back to you.
Yeah, at the mall, I mean, you have nothing to worry about because everything is air conditioning, flat. So all you have to worry about is the older folks walking around. You could just swerve around them and take them, and, go by them. But other than that, you're getting a good cardio exercise. You go at your own pace and you're not exposed to the elements like the weather, cold,
Right.
hot, rainy, no excuses. Get out there and push.
Right.
And that's what we let people know. Don't make excuses for yourself. Team up with a buddy, or get self motivated and do what needs to be done to keep yourself healthy. Because you never know when around the corner that cure is going to come, or those trials are going to come. And who are they going to pick first? Is the healthy guys.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? They're going to go through a checklist, and if you're not the guy that meets these criteria, you're not going to be able to participate in these studies.
And you know what else, Ray? From the clinical standpoint, exercise produces neurotransmitters from your brain that are euphoric. So it helps those of us who are in a little bit of a funk, for the lack of a better description. But if you want to go into the terms of depression, which is part of our injury, some of us go into a little bit of depression. Going out there and doing a little exercise helps you with that.
Yeah, it's like vitamins,
Absolutely.
for your psyche. So, yeah, that's what I do. And I just want to share 2 quick tips I use, actually 3. One thing is I started reading labels, which helped a lot. When you go to the grocery store, just check to see how many calories and fat grams each thing has. Compare them.
Sodium
Salt
too.
Yes.
Salt, yeah, all those things.
Jinx.
Sodiums. So believe it or not, you could cut all those intakes in half, just by comparing 2 of the same items. Make smart decisions. Take your time, read the labels. You would agree, Boris?
Absolutely. Saturated fats, sodium, grams of sugar. All those are something that we need to keep in mind and keep them low.
Right. Yeah. You see, and that's what helped me kind of come down to my manageable weight. And another thing is, I call it the poor man's lap band, is my belt. I wear a belt.
Tell us about that.
I told you guys that's the way I monitor my weight is keep my belt hole at a certain level. So when my belt hole is starting to get a little tight on me, I start toning down what I eat and watching, being more careful, eating more fiber, more vegetables, and
Less
it works.
strudels.
And getting more exercise.
Exactly, incorporated with that. But that helped me maintain my weight and keep it down, and also buying extra large clothes. I don't do that. When I gain weight, I still wear the clothes that I wear, and if I look tight in them, then it makes me look in the mirror and say, "Oh my God, you look terrible." What's that
Absolutely
pot
true.
belly popping up and your saggy skin all over the place? So I need.
Now he's showing off.
I need
'Cause
Muffin
we're both
top.
we're both, me and Boris are unfortunately extra large, but
no, bro.
that's the
I'm-
weight we carry, I guess.
We started, athletic, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm close to 6 feet. I was 200 pounds, always very, athletic. Big frame. You can see my, frame it's kind of large. So we do have the tendency to store that fat
Right.
on our stomach. And that has to do with, hormones, for male and female. Fat storage is distinguished on a female and a male based on what type of sexual hormone they produce.
Right.
Estrogen for women, male, it's testosterone. So
Yeah.
we do have the tendency, us men, to store it here in the abdomen. And those of us who have problems with the abdominal muscles that are not really functioning due to our injury have a tendency then now to create a little bit of a pot belly.
Right.
And so do women. So
Right. It's normal to do that. So, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, bottom of the story, bottom line is get out there, exercise, come up with a good exercise routine and diet, talk to your doctors and nutritionists, And, don't sit home and waste away. Get out there and join a gym, team up with a buddy that's in the chair or
Absolutely.
not, and get
Sure.
out there and do something healthy for yourself. But
Hey, one of those vitamins that you can get for free is vitamin D, and that
From
happens
the
when
sun.
you're in the sun. Yeah. Obviously, you want to make sure that you put your sunscreen on because too much sun also creates other problems. But
right.
vitamin D is absorbed by the skin. The ultraviolet rays produce the synthesis of vitamin D through your skin, so you
Yeah.
get that from going outside.
Good point. So in closing, we're running out of time and we want to wrap up here. We want to just thank everyone for tuning in. And then Rich, you want to share where people can find us?
Yeah, you can find our YouTube videos on our YouTube channel,
Yes.
Club Push Room.
Absolutely. And don't forget, our base website is www.pushrim.com.
That's right. That's where our social network lies, and you could connect directly with us. So join the site, tell the others, and hopefully we'll see you there on our next.
I just want to tell our audience also that we're making efforts to increase the channels by which the podcast is going to be either listened to and or viewed. Can you tell us a little about that real quick?
Oh yeah, briefly. We're basically spreading out and getting our shows up on iTunes and other podcast directories. So search for us. We're going to be up shortly, where you could download us and on your way to work or out working out, put us in your mobile device and listen in on our topic, and hopefully you could pick up some tips that will benefit you and your lifestyle. So.
Yes.
So,
Thank you, Ray.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you guys for sitting in again, and we're going to catch you guys on our next episode. And remember, subscribe and let us know what kind of topics you want for the future, and we'll make it happen for you guys.
Leave comments.
Excellent.
Definitely. So,
All right.
all right, you guys, we're
Peace
out. Peace out.